talk Eurovision.
Let's talk Eurovision. Let's talk Eurovision. Let's talk Eurovision.
Chocolate covered sugar and spice. Tasty, tasty, yum, yum, tasty.
How much time do we have left together? I can tell you.
Yeah. What the hell just happened? Hey y'all, it's Matt with ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and we're here coming to you right after Eurovision 2025 semi-final one. The 10 qualifiers are known, and I think it's fair to say there were a couple of surprises, or at least one or two in there, and then some disappointments as well. And I'm sure you all have plenty of opinions, and I'm here to listen to you and put them on here on the screen as well. So if you're new to this, make sure that you always put at ES United in the chat so that we can talk this through. And as said, 10 qualified. We had 15 wonderful performances and, of course, a wonderful show. We had lots of jokes, lots of tributes to, for instance, Celine Dion. That's Celine Dion, not Sion. I'm too excited. I cannot speak. So, and forgive me, I'm also in the middle of uploading a video because I am a multitasker. But basically, we got this new system. By the way, I would love to hear from you all as well how you liked it. But In the end, we get the split screen, 3 countries always being there together, and then at some point, one of them will be announced while the other still stay in the running. And I think it was Estonia who was on there like 3 times until they finally made it through. But anyways, I will go for this in more detail right here. So let me drag over the screen. I need to brag about how all season I said Belgium would NQ. Well, I was at NQ as well initially, but I should listen to my own guts here because I made some changes. But let's go for them first. The first country that was announced was Norway, right? The first country right out of the bat saying it is a qualifier. Some people may have thought, okay, this could have been actually a non-qualifier. They were not feeling it, even though I kind of agreed with it and I put it a little lower in my predictions. There was no way it wasn't going to go through. And so I had it in there, and I am not sad or anything. I just think there were other songs that stood out a little bit more. I don't know how they're going to do in the finals, but maybe it is more popular than we thought. And we'll find out in the near future. Let me know what you're all thinking about Norway. Deserved, not deserved, surprised. Somebody saying, by the way, about the system. New system looks effective. When the 9th qualifier was between Azerbaijan, Slovenia, and Portugal, I think I was like, oh, I think we all were. I'm actually uploading my response, my reaction to it. That was the one where it's like, because I had all 3 of them as non-qualifiers. So at that moment, I knew, okay, that's going to be one that that is not going to, that I did not expect. There were actually 2 then I didn't expect, but we get to that. Reaction to, I'm typing something here real quick. So yes, qualifiers, Eurovision 2025. Forgive me. I'm done in 5 seconds. Next. Okay, so anyways, so that was Norway, and Norway basically was an expected qualifier. I still think that vocally he was underwhelming compared to some of the others, but it is just so slick. It just was like made for Eurovision. So I was not surprised, and I'm very, very happy for them, of course, as well. So Norway is through. So let me know what your thoughts are, as always, at ESC United in the chat. The chat is moving really fast. Kyle lacked stage presence. He looked stressed. Yeah, I think that is just his personality maybe as well. He looks very stressed, like there's uptight a little bit. But at the same time, there's also something very likable and sweet about him, like because he's very young, so maybe we feel all a little bit more protective about him. But I'm very happy for Norway, of course. You said that the sound was rubbish. You could not hear some of the singers like Switzerland. Really, it sounded good to me on my end. There were times where, like in the Polish performance, where her lower voice were a little low, like I couldn't hear them as well. But I think that wasn't them. I think it was really just they were singing in a lower sound. So I thought it was actually great. Norway, the only speaking song to go through. Oh, I didn't even notice that. And the first one too. So what a diverse lineup. So out of the ones that didn't qualify, we had 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, that is such a good sign. I didn't even pick up on that because everything is happening at once here for me. Wow, that is good news. That is really good news. Because we need more. People talk a lot about Belgium, and we're gonna go get to Belgium as well. So the next one, not a shocker, but a great relief. Albania. I think that's what. You keep watching it, it gets better and better every single time. I am just so happy that this kind of music is always doing well. And I don't care what happens in the, I mean, I do care what happens in the finals, but I'm just glad that this is so popular with the community and the people. And now that's also outside the bubble, the Eurovision bubble being appreciated. That is just a wonderful thing, and I'm here for it. So another well-deserved qualifier. Any thoughts, any disagreements about Albania, let me know at ESC United. But that seems one of the few songs this year where it's like almost universally agreed on that it's a good song. There's no such thing that everyone, of course. Almost all the songs sounded really awful on my TV, especially the first 4 or 5. Curious if other people had the same issue as well. It sounded okay to me, but I was watching the live stream because the in Germany, we have a press live stream, but that one wasn't coming up for me, so that really sucked. So Wasn't keen on the camera work for Norway. Too much zooming in and out, but glad it went through. So yeah, no, it's a worthy qualifier. I don't think it's gonna. I think it'll struggle to make it to the left side of the scoreboard in the grand final, depending on who they're going to face and where they're going to be in the running order. But we'll go from there. Next up, the third qualifier. Not much time to talk about because we all knew it. It is rightfully deserved. It's one of my favorites this year. It is Sweden. I'm glad to kind of announce them early because we all knew that was going to go through. So well deserved, and I'm sure it's going to be even a bigger betting odds favorite going through right now. So that is interesting. And so any of the ones we talked about, feel free to ask questions. The next one, of course, on the list was Iceland. It's the fourth qualifier. So I knew that there would be certainly, I had it as a qualifier. I knew that this one would be the one that probably would kick out Slovenia and San Marino, I thought, but that didn't happen. So I was happy that Iceland went through. I wanted to go through, and I predicted it to go through. And there were so many, in the betting odds had it not as a non-qualifier. A lot of people didn't think it was going to go through. I'm like, this is the great opener. There is a young audience, right? There's a big chunk of a young audience. And I'm not saying it's only appealing to young people, but it has a more youthful appeal. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not surprised, and I was happy. So far, I was doing really good. I got them all predicted correctly. So here is the next one. The Netherlands, some people were worried, but did you listen to it, how beautiful it was? And the staging was so intimate and touching. I was so proud of Claude and his team. This was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. So I was very, very, very happy about that as well. Once again, not a surprise. So now when we had only, 4 left, I think, people are getting a little bit more nervous. I'm missing one. I'm missing a qualifier. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It must have fallen down. I'm missing a qualifier. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to put it here. I don't know. It was in this order. But for some reason, it fell out of my pile. And that is San Marino. Was it this or next? But San Marino, I screamed, I shouted, I was so happy. And happy, number one, because I did not predict it to qualify, but because I wanted it to qualify so badly. And y'all, I love y'all bunches, but you convinced me otherwise a couple of days ago in the chat, and I took it out. Granted, I put Iceland in, so tit for tat, I guess. But no, I'm so happy. I'm glad that I was wrong, and I'm very, very happy for San Marino, and it's rightfully deserved. I'm always surprised that it was not quite as well liked in the Eurovision bubble. So yeah, very, very, very sad. Poland, the next qualifier on my list, and honestly, Poland was, to me, another obvious one, although there were some people that were saying that it's not going to happen, that this is too Eurovision-y and too much. I'm like, no way. No way. That was fantastic. She sounded great. I was so happy about that. By the way, I'm uploading my reaction right now. You can watch that later. It's hard to do this and the upload at the same time, but it is up and running. So that is the next one. Sorry about that. Again, if you, there was a super chat. Forgive me. I'm multitasking. So the super chat, I'm going to stop for the super chat. Thank you so much, Lee. I'm so fathomed by Portugal making it. This song is so boring. How the hell did it qualify? And Belgium goes home. Something isn't right. So then let's talk about Belgium, since I already got a super chat for that. Portugal is one of the 10 qualifiers, right? And I honestly also had this one as the only one that's not going to qualify. It's too quiet, but it just shows there is an audience for it. And I personally don't get it either, right? To me, it was a boring song. However, that's just my opinion. Clearly, a lot of people felt differently. It is, to me, like the Latvia of last year. I think this particular semi was just full of big, upbeat songs. So there would be, at least, I thought that Slovenia would be the one that would take that spot of the slower song, not Portugal. But as it turns out, people were more gravitating towards Portugal. And I'm so happy for them. Yeah, is it my favorite? No. Did it predict it? No. Am I happy for them? Absolutely. I don't get mad at countries. If people like it, vote for it. And Portugal is not known for being like when I say teleport magnet, they don't have like natural friends a whole lot. Yes, they have Spain maybe and a few little bit here and there, but it's not as dramatic as we've seen in the past because they had plenty of non-qualifications. So, and I know that they always say, well, Portugal qualified over Belgium, blah, blah, we get to it in a second, but I don't know if Portugal even came in 10th. You know, it could have been others. So I am happy for Portugal. I'm not going to be upset about it. Somebody says they think that the rest of the world saved Portugal. Do they usually get a lot of Portuguese vote? Are you talking about like Brazil voting? I don't know exactly how that comes into play, but yeah. But no, I think they just plus rest of the world is only one set of votes. They still needed to pick up points from all over the continent as well. The next one was Estonia. Expected it. Vocals were meh. But the song was just so much fun. Everyone enjoyed it. I mean, there will be haters out there, but it was it was just enjoyable to watch. If it's only based on vocal performance, we could have a different conversation. There were a few questionable vocals today, but it was just too much fun to ignore. And I felt so bad for him because Tommy Cash was like the first 2 times he was not selected, and then finally the 3rd time he was. So I was pretty happy for him as well. And then it was I'm happy, of course, but it was anticlimactic that Ukraine was the final qualifier because we all knew it was going to be Ukraine at the end. So I wish I would have picked someone that was less obvious, but that doesn't mean, I wish I would have been like in the middle or something like that, but that doesn't take it away that that was an obvious qualifier, and we're happy for Ukraine as well. They get to perform in the grand final. Again, is it my kind of song? No. But can I be mad for people liking it? No. So let's talk about the non-qualifiers, because I think that is what people are more upset about. And hang on 1 second. Oh, I had to take down, I had in my video like all these things on. So these are the 2 that I thought they were going to qualify, and then they didn't. Let's talk about Cyprus first. Cyprus wasn't great in the dress rehearsal. And if you watch my videos, I was getting a little bit nervous for it because number 1, vocals weren't great. Number 2, I think the gimmick was not as impactful as I thought it was going to be. But I did think since it's going last and, you know, it has that momentum going for it, that it would be enough to get through like the second half of like 8th place or something like that. So that's, I thought it would go through just to be drowned in the grand final. But we're not even going to see that right there. We're not going to have Cyprus in the finals, which interestingly enough, along with Croatia, the last 2 songs of the night, basically not making it. It's almost encouraged. I'm not happy for them not qualifying. Don't get me wrong, but it is encouraging to know that it's not always about the running order. So that was certainly a, you know, a thing that it has more than just where you are in the running order. And then I think the biggest one is Belgium. Belgium is a very interesting one. Belgium, not my song. I've been very vocal about that, and it's still not my song. And I had it as a non-qualifier, and then I put it actually a little higher in my ranking after seeing the rehearsals. If I would only base it on tonight's rehearsal, it would have gone down. Rehearsal. It wasn't a rehearsal, it was the actual show. Things would have been different. It wasn't the greatest performance. He was a little off with the vocals, but it was too dark. So my initial instinct was right. Both with San Marino and Belgium, my instincts, I didn't listen to them, and I'm being mad at myself. So, but I still think he sounded good. And I will make the case, if we had juries, this would have gone through. But we didn't. Now, I know a lot of you all are saying that this should have gone through over Portugal. This would have gone through over country, whatever. But I don't like to do these strange comparisons anyways. So yeah, so I will say Red Sebastian's vocals were not that great. His big high notes, they were great, but it felt like it was leading up to the big moment, and then just everything between was a little like, meh. So it just was not quite as strong. So it is sad because I know it's his birthday today, and meh, you know, that's not how you want to go out, but it is what it is. You still got to perform on the biggest stage in the world, you know, so that is great. And then the other 3 non-qualifiers are Croatia, Slovenia, and Azerbaijan. So all three of them, I predict as non-qualifiers. I thought that Slovenia would have a chance. I thought Slovenia was more likely than Portugal. I knew that would be a slow song going through, but, you know, it was Portugal who took that spot. So that is interesting enough. I didn't see that happening. I have someone from Twitch saying the staging was incredible for Belgium, but the song felt flat due to the lack of pyro or big moment. The cool thing is now with my chat here, I can see both YouTube and Twitch streamers posting. So if you're on Twitch, you can ask questions now as well, just in case you're wondering. So yes, that was one of the things that stood out to me as well. Now, I know I went for these 10 qualifiers real quick just to share my initial thoughts. Now let's talk this through at ESC United in the chat. And I'm sorry, that was apparently another super chat that I missed, but it's very hard for me to do all of this by myself right now. The one, oh, there it is. I'm scrolling. Danielos, how are we supposed to predict semifinal 2 after that? It's very easy. This is what I will do. Where are you cards? Okay, I have all these semi-2 cards here now, right? I will put them to the wall and throw darts. And then hope for the best. I always thought that semi-2 was more difficult to predict, so having these surprises here, it's so much fun. So yeah, that's how I feel. But I'm, that's just me. Casper saying maybe a lot of people were over expecting from Cyprus because it was leaked that they had like never seen before staging and was underwhelming to them. Yes, I mean, I will agree. Keep in mind, I've only known about the songs. It's been a week now. I only listened to the songs a week ago, right? Because I was out the bubble for so long. So I never cared for the song a whole lot. I thought it was a little basic and generic, but I did hear that even when I heard the song, I was like, well, this is clearly made for some staging. And when we heard about the scaffolding, we saw the first shot and like, ooh, that is going to make really great visual opportunities, at least, right? With the shadowy and silhouette stuff. But then the beginning was the best part. And then they just pushed them around, tipped them, they were climbing and stuff like that we've seen before. And it was not as impressive. And then his vocals kind of did him in at the end, I think. So, yeah. So I thought it's still going to qualify just because it is at the end. And there were other songs that I thought would miss out. But in some, I don't want to say I'm glad because it's a horrible thing to say. I will wholeheartedly disagree about all the qualifiers. All of them. Not half of them, because if you could disagree all of them, we should, there are only 5 non-qualifiers. The second semifinal song should be better and more, that's right, and more active. It made me want to hear Jessica, Malboy, Neda, and Fuego. Stop living in the past. So yeah, I think there were a few questionable vocals today, right? Belgium wasn't at its best tonight. Estonia has never been about the vocals. Cyprus has not been great. So at least the ones that's qualified, they stood out and they made it work. Azerbaijan wasn't that great, and that's what places, countries like Ukraine, Portugal, they were shining. They were good. So you cannot be mad at that. At least I cannot be. I'm just so happy that San Marino is through. I know it's like one of those things. Poland, I'm so glad. I'm just happy overall, because even though I only got 8 out of 10, if it were up to my taste, I got 9 out of 10. So that's pretty good, huh? So based on my personal taste, 9 out of 10. Based on my predictions, 8 out of 10. So I can't not really cry too much. I love Switzerland, but what happened with the camera work? It's funny because it was clearly a glitch. Number 1, it is a rehearsal, so it's fine. Number 2, I didn't even see it. And that's because I was just typing something, and it must have happened when I looked away for like 10 seconds, because I did watch the performance yesterday before, so I knew it. So I didn't even catch that little thing. I was just like jiving with the music. Don't worry about the camera cut. That will be fixed. That's what rehearsals, well, this is not really rehearsal. I get it. But I think if this were to happen, usually the delegations have the option to go again so they can fix it. I know they didn't do it with Austria last year, and sometimes the delegations refuse. Also, I don't think it would have made a difference. So yeah, that would be my thinking. What is your opinion about Croatia's performance? Croatia. I think I said it in one of the other live streams as well. I was underwhelmed. I thought that it's going to be more, they should have been more playful, because they have that nursery rhyme part and then the aggressive poison, Greg. And they should have picked the playful one up more, because he was still sending this seriously and it just didn't work. And then, yes, I brought a cauldron, which was there for 3.5 seconds. And then they just went in front of the stage and that's it. So staging wise, it was one of the weakest performances, I will say. I'm not saying if better staging would have made a difference, but I think it would have done visually would have been a lot better. facial expression would have been better if I do it more like la 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 la. But he was still serious about it, so it would have I was not really into it. So that would be my thinking. Mark is saying the Belgian flop. Name the last techno number that did well at Eurovision. Halo and We Will Rave both disappointed. Genre not suited to the contest. I think that's a very valid point. Although We Will Rave did qualify at least, right? Granted, it came second to last in the finals, but at least it made the cut. Yes, so Belgium, I think, is just another reminder. Even though it had better vocals, it was still a little off, but it was just not working. And sometimes I should just listen to my gut instinct. But I didn't. Well, if I would have listened to my gut instinct, I would have got 9 out of 10, not 8 out of 10. So I guess I live. But yeah, no, that is a valid point. It's just a difficult genre to pull off live. I get it. I get it. You have to be probably more clever about it. So it's sad, you know, there will be 5 acts heading home now, or at least just be there as visitors and spectators. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what else I have there. Who came 11th and who came last? So I don't know. I still think Cyprus came 11th and then Belgium came 12th. And maybe Slovenia. Let me think. Y'all, who came 11th? Who do you think came 11th? I will say Cyprus came 11th. And last was Azerbaijan, probably. That would be my guess. 11th Cyprus, 15th Azerbaijan. Now, y'all, tell me in the chat. Who do you think? Slovenia 11th, Belgium, Slovenia, Cyprus. Lots and lots of opinions, which, you know, understandable. Will they reveal the exact numbers of the votes? Well, they're going to not reveal the exact points. They will reveal the points, and then each broadcaster often reveals their own results, you know, of the televote. So in case you're wondering how many votes went to in Spain, Spain can release the broadcaster the actual information. I don't think the EBU does that. That's up to each broadcaster. I don't think they also release like the rest of the world votes in detail. So I'm not sure. So yeah, that's basically where we're at right now. Let me move over here for a second. My chat is like freezing for a second because there's a lot going on. I'm going to count down to 3 and hopefully it comes back. 3, 2, 1. Better. I cannot use that one software. The clips they showed of semifinal 2 were different ones this time. Did you see how amazing Austria was? JJ was on a moving boat and everything. What do you think? I mean, it's hard for me to focus on semi 2 right now because I'm still recovering from semi 1, but I didn't pay close attention to the clips, to be honest. I will watch them tomorrow, by the way. That's a good plug, actually. Thank you for bringing up semi 2. Tomorrow, I'll be here around 8 p.m. Central European time, where we can start talking about semi 2, and I will guide you through the actual dress rehearsal of that show. Now, hoping this time it will not leak. Somebody's going to hack into the entire satellite stream and post it online. But yeah. I think the second semifinal will be better. There aren't a lot of songs that I can remember from the first semifinal. On paper, I like the first better. I do think that the second one is more competitive. I think it'll be much more difficult to predict that one. But then again, who knows? That would be my thinking. What is interesting that the qualifiers were more Central European countries than Baltic countries. The qualifiers were more Central European than Baltic countries. Got it. Okay, I don't know how to read it twice. It's a lot. It's a lot. I need to look at it. Yeah, we got, because, well, Estonia is Baltic. Poland is through, well, these are Nordic countries. Norris, Albania, that's more Eastern. I don't know. It seems pretty mixed bag to me. Maybe I'm missing something. San Marino, Iceland, Estonia were jokes. So many low-quality songs in the final. I don't agree with that, Stefan. I love, I like them all, but I love San Marino. Joke is also very, you know, joke entry isn't always a bad thing. I mean, think about if, let's say, Katy Perry would have taken part in Eurovision with her song California Girls. People would be like, that's such a stupid, silly gimmick song. But now it's a classic. Songs can be sad. They can create anger, that can be frustrating, that can be depressing, that can also be funny. It's an emotion that is very important. So we don't always have to have sappy, sad ballads or very serious music. If you can put something together that makes us laugh, that's half the rent. in my countries. How do you think the juries would have changed the qualifiers of semi-1? That's a very good question. So I think we don't know who came fifth, but I think both Belgium and Slovenia would have been a contender. I don't think it would have only hurt Cyprus. I don't think Azerbaijan would have done it, and not Croatia. So the only two that I think could have made it were then Belgium and Slovenia. I think that both were jury options. I think the ones that could have hurt, I think Norway would have probably been penalized a little bit. You can make a case for San Marino even. And Estonia, of course. Yeah, those would be the ones that be like, yeah, they may have struggled a little bit with the juries. So, but we don't know who came 10th and who came 7th and all that stuff. Again, let's go back to last year. Latvia was the last in the betting odds. I think it was the last in like the audience poll. And then it didn't come last in semis. It came 7th. It wasn't even a borderline qualifier. So stuff like that can actually happen here as well. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Okay. So, thank you for that super chat, by the way. Belgium was mediocre and hard to hear the lyrics. Yes, the song to me is mediocre. I agree with that, but that's personal taste. As I said before, I'm the wrong audience for the song. So I have to put that bias aside, but I thought he was a great vocalist and I thought some of the staging was really cool, but it was better yesterday. It was better yesterday. That's why I felt a little bit more confident. If I still probably would have left it in now, but I would have put it like in 9th or 10th place rather than like where I had it before, like 7th or so. So yeah, I've been a little saddened by it. I wonder if all the commentators had a note to mention that Gabri Ponti did Blue Dabadi. Maybe, but that's not going to make a difference either. Do you really think somebody is going to be like, oh, there was somebody that did a song from the 90s? No, we had plenty of former artists from the 90s and flop. So I don't think that made a difference. It's honestly, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toe, but I think San Marino got the dude vote. It's a dude song, it's a very shouty soccer anthem, and there's a market up for that. So I'm not saying it's only because I love that song as well, but it's a bro song, and that can be a success as well. So I am very happy. Do you think that Gabri Ponte will surpass Serhat to have the best result ever at San Marino? Yes, I will make that prediction right now. I think Serhat came in 19th, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that is, I'm manifesting that right now. And now that women like, I'm a woman, so no, I'm not saying that no woman will like it or no, the non-bros. I'm not saying that, but it's a big bro focus there. So don't worry. I'm not saying like no song is for anything. I said earlier, Slovenia, maybe where the grandma starts weeping. That doesn't mean only grandmas will like it. It's just, you often have more of a target audience. So yeah, there are junior Eurovision songs that I like, and I'm not the target audience, if you know what I mean. Let me see here. It was so great seeing Petra in the interval act. I know, right? It was really nice seeing her. Not just her, but also the 4 former artists from last year's, Lithuania, Greece, Portugal, and Ukraine. It's just wonderful to see them again performing together. I'm all about celebrating former artists. It should be like that. That's why Celine Dion makes sense because, she's a Eurovision icon. But we don't need the Madonnas and Justin Timberlakes anymore here. I think this is not the right. It's just stupid. So I'm glad that they're highlighting them. That makes me very, very, very happy. I clicked on something, but then it went away. I thought I would hate the split screen result, but I really like it. It was more suspenseful. How did you find it? I personally don't like it. I think it's anticlimactic to me because I'm like, okay, now I know Montenegro. Well, I'm just using Montenegro because they're not in here. Montenegro is not going to qualify next because there are only those 3 options. So it's not as exciting to me. It's not as bad as what they tried a few years ago in Liverpool, where they all had to stand on the stage and the cameras on them by themselves and be like, at least they get to be with their team, with the delegation, and can celebrate together or at least cry together if they do not qualify. So I personally prefer the old way, but I understand if some people like it, and clearly it's here to stay. So once a change is made and used, it hardly ever goes back unless it really backfires in some shape or form. The staging for Switzerland was beautiful, real dark horse contender for me. I have Switzerland definitely as a top 5 contender, and I'm not there to call it a winner. Because I don't think it's going to win the televote, but it's going to be like, although it could pull a Switzerland 2024, right? But I don't think so. Plus, there's so many strong ballots this year. France will be there. Austria will be there. Do you know what I mean? So it comes down to which the televoters will prefer. So it comes down. So at least it's a more competitive year. Remember, if you want to ask a question at ESC United, out of the chosen Big 5 Switzerland, which was your favorite? Out of the 3 tonight, it was definitely Switzerland, followed by Spain. Spain was also, by the way, let's speak about Spain. I was a little worried about the snippet that they released. She was way better today. She's still always on the edge, a little bit of shouty, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the performance. Is it revolutionary now? But sometimes you just enjoy the performance and you move on with your life. And that's kind of how I feel. I see that Martin Osterdahl isn't in the arena now. He didn't even say his line. Yes. So after last year's disaster, in case you don't know, he got booed so badly that they decided not him to say anything. So instead, the host saying, "You're good to go." It's a cop-out, of course. Changing, of course, another tradition, but that's just what they felt like has to be done because they cannot do it in this semi if they're going to face a similar situation in the next semi or in the grand final with the booing potentially. So just, that's why. So it made me smile. Will there be a press conference for the qualifiers? No, something else they cut. Blame the EBU. They're not going to have any press conferences for them either. They will have a live stream apparently where you can draw the actual, not running order, but the halves or producer choice options. So I don't know when that will happen, but we're not going to have an official conference anymore because they want to have less and less press questions, and that is the problem. And I understand there's always some friction, but I don't agree with it. Do you think Portugal got through because of the diaspora, or just people liked the vibe? Maybe votes from Italy, Spain, and Switzerland. Portugal, I mean, if Portugal had such a powerful support diaspora, they would have qualified all the time. They're just sending music that works. And sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. But it seems to be hitting the right notes right now with the Eurovision viewers. So no, I don't think it has to. Yes, they get some points from Spain, and they have maybe some other friendly votes like in Switzerland, whatever. But you need to have more support than just your few. And Portugal only has very few. And in the past, it didn't help. Just lately, they have been putting music forward. So I don't want to take away anything from their success tonight because they earned that spot. As much as I would have liked to see some other country in there. But that is just my personal taste. Which song was the biggest grower of the night? Clement is asking. The biggest grower for me? Gosh, you expect me to remember every song? I mean, I've seen them all before. So I don't know if I had the biggest grower. No, not really. I mean, maybe it was San Marino. It was one of my favorites, only because I had so much fun with it. And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't believe in it more. So no, I didn't have a biggest grower per se, because they all kind of felt where they were. I started getting a little bit more nervous about Estonia's chances after the dress rehearsal, but after today, I'm like, nah, they're going through. So that was another grower after it shrunk. So it was like, so that was my opinion about that. But I don't have one that was a complete grower to me. Does the 7 out of the 8 performances qualifying, do you think this trend will play out in semifinal 2? Finland and Israel are both in the second half, for example. But does the 7 out of 8 performances qualifying, I'm not sure if I understand the question. The 7 out of performances qualifying from what? I may need some clarification on that. Are you referring to like a certain half? I haven't looked at what, because there were lots of second half songs, right? Oh, the last 2? I'm lost. Can you say if the hosts are getting better into than yesterday? It still felt super awkward. It's very interesting that you said, because I got so many compliments about the hosts. I enjoyed it. Look, Eurovision hosting will always be a little stiff. because you read that script and all of that stuff in the, and I am fine with that. I thought that the number was funny, and yeah, I enjoyed them. I didn't think they were awkward that much. Yes, scripted, but Eurovision is very, very scripted. So I personally, the first 8 qualified, the first 8 songs qualified? No, that doesn't make sense. Slovenia didn't qualify. How good did Poland singer look for her age and having performed 30 years ago? I will actually say she doesn't look good for her age. She just looks good. I don't necessarily have to always add that little thing in front of it. She's just amazing. Sure, you can say for like, the way she moves, like some 20-year-olds would be jealous, but she just looks great. And I'm so happy that Poland qualified. It was absolutely deserved. And even some of the criticism, I was always believing in Poland, and I'm glad I did. Do you think there's a pattern between UK 24 and Belgium 25 that make the televote not get behind this type of entries? I'm trying to figure out what the connection is there. The red lights? No, I think with Belgium, it was just a genre. It tends to flop. And with UK, it was just too much. And vocally, it wasn't that good. So I don't think there is a correlation there, if thinking about it. Why do you think Portugal was so underrated? Good taste. Well, honestly, I mean, underrated as well, because I don't think it has a wow factor, right? It's the song that is nice and pleasant, but a lot of people perceived it as boring. So, and it may not be contest or Eurovision suitable on paper, right? And that's the beauty about Eurovision, because you never know. You just never know. And I don't think it would, especially, and maybe the fact that it came right after Sweden, that powerhouse and that very strong staging and just song, that this was just a sigh of relief for those who are not into Sweden. So that could be as well. But we don't know if Portugal just squeezed in by 2 points or if there came 6 in the semi. So we have to really look at the points. And I use that example, for instance, last year Serbia qualified, but Serbia only qualified because of, Slovenia and Croatia voting for them. I think Portugal probably collected, that would be my own personal guess, like 4 points here, 3 points there, 5 points there, and then just gets like a good 8th place. That seems like the song that's what's happening here. That's how I feel. Were you nervous about Ukraine qualifying? I felt like this could have been the year they broke theirs through. No, I was actually saying in my video, my reaction, that it was anticlimactic, because once it was clear that Ukraine has not been called yet, that they would actually be the ones qualifying. So it was a little bit anticlimactic. I wish they would have picked another country to go last. I mean, that's obvious. So they shouldn't have picked either Netherlands, Sweden, or Ukraine for that, because you kind of knew that was going to happen. But hey, maybe they tried to freak us out. I don't know. The fact that we had a surprise qualifier in Portugal gives me more hope for Latvia on Thursday. Well, I will say this. It should give you more hope, and I would not consider Latvia a surprise qualifier, actually. I, right now, have Latvia as a qualifier, but I know what you're saying, because it is a little bit more on the risky side, and that's what it goes. Some people jive with Portugal and with Latvia, some with one of them, some are with neither of them, and that's the beauty about the contest. All we can do is speculate and predict, and sometimes we're right, and sometimes we're wrong. And you can just look at patterns, and you look at, so, but in the end, you cannot really expect taste, like what people, and maybe what mood they're in, or how the running order is. So there could be so many different factors that come into play. They should have had the Azerbaijan, Croatia, Portugal split screen. What was the one they had before? Well, they had Portugal, Azerbaijan, and they had that one, right? So, but the thing is, when you see that split screen, you have barely enough time to register which countries are in there. Oh, okay, 3, and then you already have the name. It's too fast. So for me, it's too much to comprehend, because my little brain is just kind of like right here. It's true. It's true. Isn't it like we only use 20% of our brain? Could you imagine what we could do if we used the other 40%? That would be amazing. But yeah, we don't. Anyways, any other questions real quick at ESC United? As a reminder, I will be back here tomorrow evening for the dress rehearsal of semi-final 2, where you get to watch the full thing, chat through it, and then discuss, we like you or no. And then, of course, we have the big semi-final 2 on Thursday. We're going to do the same thing, pre and post show. And do you think casual voter pick up the phone and vote 20 times? I don't know. I don't think so. But they vote like 3 or 4 times, maybe. I wouldn't. I mean, I did vote 20 times. And Connor called me out on it earlier, and he was right with his presumption. How many points do you think Ukraine got being in a war? Okay, I'm not going to speculate on the whole war thing because I know it's a very sensitive subject. Honestly, though, it does not matter. They went through. So if I tell you one thing, you can believe another. So going into this, and I've always said, I don't think it's a political vote. It's, if anything, it is an emotional vote. And that's what music is. It's emotional. And you cannot really put guidelines into that. It was, what we can agree is they weren't bought. They weren't like fabricated. Those are real people voting for it. So that is one thing you need to remember. And that is very, very important. How many show closes have NQ'd before? Well, now you ask me a question that I have no on top of my head. I know that there were several over the last few years, so I don't think we've had it, right? It's been a few years since we've had a non-closer not qualifying. I remember 2013, Serbia closed and they didn't qualify. Gosh, I don't remember top of my head. Some people help me out. Was Estonia? No, they weren't last. It was second to last, right? Estonia in 2017. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. Did you guys? Did you get winner vibes for Sweden tonight? I'm a super fan, and I didn't. My boyfriend is a casual viewer, and he didn't either. Both of us got top 5 vibes, but not a winner. Here's the thing: it's very hard to say that if you haven't, if your better half hasn't seen the other songs yet. I still get winner vibes from the song, absolutely. Now, does it mean it's going to win? No, but I absolutely say that it would be wrong to not consider them as a winner, even if they only come third. That's still potential for them to win. And it really comes down to how the points fall. I always use 2019 as the best example, how Netherlands came second with the televote and third with the juries, right? And then still won overall, just because of the ways the points were allocated and the big discrepancy between jury and televote. It was beautiful to watch because it was such an insane thing, and I love chaos. But it's very hard to say. The problem was in the last couple of years, the jury winners were such landslide winners, both Sweden and Switzerland, that it was almost impossible for the televote to catch up, which is a little bit anticlimactic because you kind of knew already by the end of the jury vote that we've had the winner, unless it would be something super dramatic, like discrepancy there. What do you think caused the delay in the voting counting? Is it possible something happened to the votes of the country? Okay, I did not see a voting delay. I bet I was doing stuff in between, so I've missed it. Everything that they were rehearsing last time was rehearsed as well. There probably just were some delays with setting stuff up, but I don't recall seeing any major delays. Let me know. So yeah, I didn't. Für ik Flamme, somebody's saying, oh, Australia won their semi in 23 and then flopped televote hard in the final. Yes. And that's kind of how it goes sometimes. Certain songs are doing great and you go last and you're in the right mood. But then you get, sometimes it's just the mood at that moment, where you are in the ranking. It's very, very difficult to, because televoters, they can vote, 20 times? But they don't rank them. They will, I vote 3 times for this one, 5 times for that one, or I'm voting 20 times for this one, whatever it may be. So it's not a science. I wish actually they would make the televoters rank the songs like they do with the juries, but I know that's not possible. But that would be my absolute dream. Are you worried about the failure with Switzerland? Could there be more problems on Saturday? I'm not worried about it. And honestly, would that really impact the voting? Be like, oh, I love this song, it's so sweet, but the camera angle was really crap, so let me just vote for Sweden instead. No, it's not going to. People, it's again overthinking it. Now, they may have a right to go again if it's that bad. Sometimes people get to perform again if the performance was interrupted of something that is of none of their fault. And that could be a possibility. But I wouldn't worry about it. They can fix that fairly easily, hopefully. But it's just a reminder, this is of everything. You may think that this is just an easy camera thing, but having one shot, that's also a risk that Switzerland wants to take, so it is difficult. How do you feel about the rest of the world having 2 windows of votes before the shows? Both times Israel won it. Well, it is weird because the rest of the world can vote starting yesterday, right? So it is odd because they haven't seen the actual show yet. I personally don't like it. I understand why they're doing it because, a lot of people will be asleep or at work in like this part of the world. But I feel as if you are a fan of Eurovision, you need to vote live and not before. And I wish they would have fixed that because I think that opens it up to corruption of the vote. And I will keep speaking out on that. If you want to vote from the rest of the world, I'm a big supporter of it. A big supporter as that one set of votes. But you need to watch it live and you need to be voting on that night. Right now, it's clear it's just a money-grabbing opportunity. And, results be damned. And that is a little bit annoying. Let me know if you disagree, but that is how I feel. Why Mr. Eurovision did not say that we are good to go? Well, first of all, I said that earlier, but I saw it again. It's because they don't want to get booed. Last year, he got booed so badly. So by not having to say that in any of the shows, it's just a safety blanket. Maybe it'll come back in the future, but for right now, especially with everything is still high, the tension with Israel being part of Eurovision, they don't want to get in a situation where the booing comes out. So they're trying to protect themselves there, which is, unfortunate. It's such a big part of Eurovision. Did you saw that RTV confirmed that the Big Five will draw their halves tonight? Yeah, I heard about that earlier, that they will draw their halves tonight. I don't have time to look at it because I'm live streaming here. So, but yes, I did hear about that. I absolutely did hear about that. Although you would think by now it would happen because it's past midnight, right? Do you think both openers and semis can qualify? Will Australia qualify? I mean, Australia is a guaranteed qualifier to me, and Finland is too, yes. So I have them both as very, very likely qualifiers. I think people are now concerned because Cyprus didn't qualify. But just look at the song, look at the merits of the song, and they are safe. And if I'm wrong, you can come here and yell at me. Of course, I have to watch the whole thing tomorrow. Again, I'll be back here to guide you through the dress rehearsal. We're going to talk it through, and we'll go from there. If they want tension, Israel needs to be in that final place. It would be just quite funny. I think they're going to put Israel somewhere in the middle, at the qualifier. We all know Israel's going to qualify, so between 4th and 6th, if not even earlier, between 3rd and 6th or something like that, just to get out of the way without having the big moment. What I'm curious about, if they're going to cover up the booing and all that stuff, right, like they've done before. Because we've heard, I'm not sure if you heard, there was a lot of the I must say laugh track. It's not a sitcom. What you call it? Like the applause, the artificial applause. Yeah, that was pretty obvious to me. How do you feel about the lack of mention of Joost during the Spotify? I was just because it wasn't notable or any other reasons. How many streams does the song have? I'm not sure. So I cannot speak to it. What I can speak to is like Italians, they love Spotify. I mean, they have the songs for Italian. I don't use Spotify, or like hardly ever. So I don't know if that's always the best way to measure it. So, but if they left the Netherlands out, 177 million, that is wrong because they're considered as disqualified. But he did perform in the semis. Oh, I didn't think about that. So if they actually disqualified it also from, you Dutch don't. Oh gosh, you will riot. We will riot. Rosalind Snap stream numbers are insane. That's one of the things I always say. If you get like some international boost because it went viral on TikTok by randomness, that's kind of how it goes sometimes, right? That's why I'm saying, like, there's so many songs at Eurovision that are so good, but they never make it like international stage. But if Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, or Ariana Grande would sing the songs, there would be big major hits. But it's really just about exposure. And unfortunately, the Eurovision artist, like a random singer from Lithuania, is not going to achieve the same kind of success as, a huge American star. And it is unfortunate. I wish we wouldn't be in this place, but here we are. You would think in this more digital world where things are a lot different, it would happen, but it's all about the money. Woo! I'm throwing tissues. So yeah, it's a very good point that you're raising, though, about Europapa. I didn't realize that. What was your favorite staging of the night, regardless of song or vocals? Oh gosh. So I will say that Switzerland, even with the issue, it actually made me emotional. And if you can get me emotional about something, that I will appreciate. I'm still a big fan of Poland staging. I know it's, everything and the kitchen sink kind of situation, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, that would be the two I would pick. I kind of knew what happened with, Sweden. It was great, but it's a national final. So it wasn't the biggest surprise for me. So I feel those probably. So let's see here. Any questions? Do you think maybe Europe was into more fun, upbeat vibes for Iceland, San Marino, and Sweden to qualify together? Maybe. But keep in mind, this particular semi was full of bops. How many slow songs do we have? We have Slovenia out, Portugal in, and that's it. You can maybe somehow squeeze Ukraine and Netherlands as like mid-tempo, right? But there are no slow songs. So we had so many upbeat entries. They were bound to get so many of them through. So, and in my book, they all made it because of just people enjoyed them. And it's just that simple to me. I'm not overthinking it. Sweden was a clear, obvious qualifier. Iceland wasn't open. It was just the right feel. And I think there was a demographic thing as well. And San Marino was just party. I think Eurofans are hyping Belgium so much, might be an indicator that Sweden is not winning. I don't know. I mean, keep in mind, it is Sweden. And Sweden always does well at Eurovision. And it feels like that the juries get this license to vote for them regardless of the song. Hear me out. If Kai, the band, no shade, because I love that song. It's my favorite this year. So I'm allowed to say this. If the Sauna song was sent by Latvia, I'm almost certain that the juries would penalize it. But since it's Sweden, I don't think they will. And I know that the song will be popular with the televoters regardless. So for that reason, I think if a song like this can win, it is via Sweden, if that makes sense. And so that's why I'm sticking with it. It's still a likely contender. But I agree. I'm not like it's done deal. But I do think that they are absolutely in contention. Do you think that the first semifinal performers benefit more from a longer build up to the final as they have more time to viral build hype? I don't think so, but we would have to look at statistics. I mean, let's look 23. We're 24. 24. I don't even remember what semi Nemo was in. And I don't even know where they are. So we have to look at patterns. I was like, I'm going to tell you exactly because Nemo was in. Which semi was he in? And then Lorraine. And I don't know what semi she was in. So I don't remember any of them. What did you think about the Celine Dion tribute? It was touching. It was exactly how they should have done it. She's an icon, not just because she's Celine Dion, but she started basically in Eurovision 37 years ago, and she is a legend, and we're still celebrating her. It's sad that she cannot be here, but I totally get it and support that. So I thought having, former artists perform on her behalf, it's the next best thing. So I really enjoyed it. It was a touching moment. I hope they were going to have that for the final, so hopefully they're going to have that as well. But yeah, I loved it. Sweden will get extra jury points for finally showing some cojones and being Swedish. You think so? I don't know if they take that into account. They just take into account it's Sweden. That we might thinking. And again, this is not for me picking on Sweden or the song because I love the song to bits. But it seems as people feel juries often fall into that bucket, which when it was another country, I don't think they would have voted that way. Belgium NQ kind of makes me think that euphoria will really come at the perfect right time. Sometimes you really need to be on trend with music industry like Portugal tonight, TikTok song. I don't know the correlation between Portugal and TikTok, so I cannot speak to that. But if someone has information, share that with me. I didn't know that they had some kind of correlation there. If that's the case, maybe you make a good point, because I didn't know that there was like a TikTok thing. I think Sweden should be one of the big countries. It would open a spot for a smaller country, and Sweden are happy to go through money at Eurovision. Well, they're not. I think actually it is all about the money, right? And I think actually, if you look at money, at least the last few years before, Netherlands is actually next in line to become a Big Five country, if I'm not mistaken, not Sweden. So we cannot just put them in the finals because, you know, they are so successful. And I don't think they even want to go directly through. I mean, they're even like back when Russia was still in the running, I think it was offered for them, but they're like, nah, we don't need it. We always qualify anyways, and it gives more hype and more excitement. So, yeah. So, and I'm sure they may have to pay more on top of it. So now, and I don't want to have another spot taken by a direct qualifier, unless you want to kick out another country. Let's just kick Spain out, for instance. I'm not picking on Spain again. People take it personal. I'm just picking one random one. So it wouldn't be cool either. So now I prefer actually to get rid of all the Big Fives. I understand why that's not a possibility. So, but I'd rather bring it down, not add more. That would be my thinking. So we were supposed to get the first and second half for the direct qualifiers, and maybe even the semifinalists, but I guess we haven't gotten anything yet, right? I'm going to the, I'm not calling it by the real name, so I'm calling it Twitter. And see if anything. So Ukraine has drawn first half. Oh, they have it announced. Okay, I totally missed it. Ukraine have drawn first half at Eurovision final. Okay, let me go through those then. That, at least according to ESC Discord. That was 2 minutes ago. I need my glasses now, y'all. More. I'm clicking around here. So Ukraine will be in the first half, apparently, according to ESC Discord. Why do you think Spain is always underrated every year? Not every year. They came in third 3 years ago. As a former German, I could say the same thing. Germany's always underappreciated every year. I think last year, for instance, that song was never going to work. And I think in 23, they should have done better, but it was too outside the bubble for people to get it. But it did really well with the juries, or like quite well with the juries. So I don't know if it's going to work this year, but when you send a good song that clicks, people will like it. So don't think people don't like Spain or the Spanish songs. I mean, I love your song this year. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. The Portuguese song became viral on TikTok in Portugal. Oh, in Portugal only. Okay, but since you can't vote, I thought it was like an international TikTok phenomenon, like Snap or anything. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you think it'll be one of the greatest years for the Big Five in terms of ranking for the final? No. No, I don't think so. Actually, I think it would be the opposite. I think France is the country with the biggest chances of doing really, really well. Yes, the other ones not so much. Spain I could see Spain anywhere between 8th and 25th place. I think Spain could go all the anywhere. I see right hand of scoreboard for Germany. Italy will probably underperform. I don't think Italy will be in the top 10 this year. And UK seems to be very unpopular with the fans, but I do think it's going to get points from the juries. But I think either bottom left side of the scoreboard or somewhere on the right side of the scoreboard. So no, the only country that I think will do really well is France. The rest I'm not certain about, in my opinion. Do you agree with me that Italy will get the lowest score ever? Well, since their return, I don't know. They really flopped in 2014. So now if you talk about since the new voting system, since 2016, perhaps they could beat what they had actually in 2016, the result. I don't think they're going to do as well this time around. I'm going to be honest. But then we thought the same thing about Portugal, and here we are. So who am I to judge? I don't know if you already discussed this, but does Poland have more than 20 times more views than the others? That is something I want to be careful, because Poland tends to have more views than most. I don't know. Every country has their own little things. Like Spotify seems to be super popular in Italy. Poland always gets high views. Italy too, though. So I would not completely just go by that, but it is certainly a good indicator. I would you never know. I'm not disregarding it, but I would also not put too much stock into it. So why is only Ukraine announced so far? Has anybody else seen anything? So as a reminder, Subline revealed that Ukraine will perform in the first half of the grand final. Hopefully not Samba 2 spot again, because it gets a little old for them. So yeah, no other responses yet in terms of the running order. So I'm not going to stick around then, since this is taking an eternity to get the results. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Twitter machine. Do you think once again that the EB will put Ukraine in the worst spot in first half? Well, they came third, so it's a little different now with the worst spot. I mean, the worst spot too is because it had never a song has won in the second slot. I don't think they're going to put them in second again. But I would not worry about it too much, because now you can start voting from the beginning of the show. And in the past, it may have not made a difference, but it seems now that it's all more digital online, it can make up for the disadvantage of going early, and because recency bias, right? France have gone the long without winning, have gone long. Not the longest, but not winning this year would take them into 40 years without winning. I'm shocked when I learned this. Well, listen, my friends from Spain, do you want to tell our friend here how long it has been for you? It's been 56 years. The last time they won was in 1969. So I would be thrilled for France to win, because their last one was in 1977. But technically, Spain is in line next, because they waited even longer. And that's not counting the countries that have never won. Wasn't it a shared win too for Spain? Yes. So that year, 16 was a four-way share between France, ironically, Spain, UK, and the Netherlands. And then they actually won in 68 and 69, Spain, but since that four-way win, they have not won again. So it's a little crazy. Are you worried about the hate that Marko might receive from the homophobes because of Croatia? It would make any difference. I hope not. I don't live in Croatia, so I don't know how bad or good it is. Unfortunately, I'm sure there will be always some, but let's be honest here. Croatia has had non-qualifications almost every year. Last year, you just popped out of nowhere and almost won. In my opinion, you should have won. But in the years prior, you had the pretty girl. She didn't qualify, I mean, the year before they actually, So there are plenty of non-qualifications that you've had. So I hope that's not going to be. But people who hate, they will find any reason to hate. So I hope that's not going to happen. But it would make me very, 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 very sad. Are you worried about? Oh no, we had that one. I want to talk about it twice. So let me check one more time if there are any other. No, I guess everybody went to bed. We'll find out until tomorrow morning what half each person will actually compete in. So then I guess we have had a great conversation, and I will be back tomorrow again for the big dress rehearsal for semi-final 2. So please show up, and if you don't have time, then show up for semi-final 2. We're going to have a pre and post chat to do the same thing again. I will do my predictions for semi 2 tomorrow after I watch the dress rehearsal, and then you can pick on me when I'm wrong. How does that sound? Thanks again. Before you leave, can you just like this video real quick? It helps me so much in the algorithm, especially since I was gone for a year, so I have to start from scratch, basically. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you all later, okay? Thank you. Bye.